Good morning. We'd like to welcome you to another edition of the Sunday School Review. This week's lesson is entitled Prophet of Conquest. It's taken from Joshua, the fifth chapter, verses 13 through 15, and the sixth chapter of Joshua, verses 1 through 5, 15 through 16, and verse 20. In this week's lesson, we find that Joshua, Moses' assistant, has been chosen by God to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. Now, if you remember, Joshua, along with Caleb, two of the 12 spies that were sent to spy out the land, these two, Joshua and Caleb, of the 12, they came back and said that let's go in now and take the land because we are able. God had given them the land, but 10 other spies said that they was not able to do it. And if you remember, the children of Israel went along with the 10 spies that said that they was not able to go in and take the land. Now, just a point of information of the individuals, Israelites, that was, I believe, 20 years and older than 20, except Joshua and Caleb. They did not enter into the promised land. They died in the wilderness because, namely, of unbelief. Now, we, just as Moses had led the children of Israel through the Red Sea on dry land, Joshua has just led the children of Israel across the Jordan River on dry land. And they are now about to enter into their first city, or conquer their first city, and that is Jericho. And that's where our lesson picks up, where they are facing their first major challenge. That is the conquest, or to conquer Jericho. And that's where our lesson picks up at verse 13. And it says, it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with a sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, art thou for us or for our adversaries? And verse 14, and he said, nay, but as captain of hosts of the Lord I am come. And Jericho fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, what said my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord host said unto him, Joshua, loose thy shoe off thy foot, for the place whereupon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. Now, as verse 13 tells us, Joshua is now surveying. As I said, they have now just crossed the Jordan River, and they are facing Jericho. And Joshua and 13, verse 13, he is surveying the city of Jericho. Now, the city of Jericho was a walled city. It was very fortified. So Joshua is saying he's trying to figure out a battle strategy. How can I take this city? And he is met by a man with a sword drawn. Now, this man was the Lord. Now, the Lord has appeared in many forms in the Bible. He appeared in many forms. So here, the Lord, this man, the Lord is appearing here as a captain of the Lord. And if you notice, we go to verse 14 here, 14 and 15, where the Lord tells him, he gives him the same command as he gave to Moses at the burning bush. And namely, he said, and the captain of the Lord said unto Joshua, that is the Lord, loose thy shoes off thy foot. In other words, take off your shoes. The same command that was given to Moses at the burning bush. So this, again, is the Lord that is speaking to Joshua at this point. Now, we jump ahead now to Joshua, the 6th chapter, and the first section of verses is verses 1 through 5. Now, Joshua was straightly shut up. Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given in thine hands Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And you shall compass the city. Now, when we get into verse 3, now verse 1 and 2 is telling us that the city is shut up. They are afraid of the children of Israel. And now, but they are well in their mind. They're well protected. It's a major fortified city, a walled city. And under normal circumstances, this holdup could go on for a long time. But as we're going to find out here, it only lasted 7 days. But because of the structure of the city, they could last a long time under normal circumstances. So when we get into verse 3 here, the Lord is giving Joshua the instructions. Now, verse 2, let's look at verse 2. It says, see, the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hands Jericho. Now it says, I have, not I will give you. I have already given into your hand Jericho. In other words, I will go before you. I will have went before you and prepared the way. Now, all you need to do is just obey. Okay? And I've given you the city, not will. I have given you the city. And 3 come with the instructions. Here are the instructions for how are you going to conquer the city of Jericho. Now, when we're going to read it, and ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go around the city once. thou shalt do 6 days. So 6 days you go around the city once. Okay. Oh, don't you're not in silence. In silence. This is a strange battle plan, but is God's plan. And number 4, uh, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark, that is the ark of the covenant, and 7 trumpets of ram's horns, and the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow the trumpets, and it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horns, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people so shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. Now, this is a strange battle plan indeed. And as I said before, it only took 7 days, but it was not Jericho's plan, it was God's plan. And here's the key. There's several keys in this lesson. One is follow and obey. And if you follow and obey, you will get the intended results. Now, if you think about it, the people of Jericho, the city was shut up. They knew that the children of Israel was out there. And they were probably thinking in themselves, they was wondering, what is going on? These people are marching. Well, the first day, they marched around the city one time and they left, went back to camp. And the next day, here they come again. The first day, I'm sure they was pretty puzzled the first day and the second day. And they marched around the city in silence for one time for 6 days. That was the instruction that God gave to Joshua. And what we see when we go to the last few verses, it jumps to 15 and 16, and it also takes up verse 20. And this is the 7th day. Like I said, this happened 6 days. I'm sure the people of Jericho were pretty confused. And I'm sure the people of Israel as well, thinking of, well, this is a very strange battle plan. But, and this is the key here, is Joshua, the prophet, the man that God chose after Moses died to lead the children of Israel into the promised land. So long as they obeyed God's prophet, they would be successful. And this is what the subject is, the prophet of conquest, or the prophet of victory. And they did obtain victory because they trusted God and they obeyed his command. So let's read the 15th verse, which is the 7th day. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early from the dawning of the day and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. On the 7th day, they compassed the city 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. 16. It came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord has given you the city. As I said, for the 6 days, when they marched around the city, they marched in silence. But on the 7th day, after the 7th time around, they was given the command to shout, because the Lord had given you the city. And we go to verse 20. So the people shouted when the priest blew the trumpet, and it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, the walls fell down flat. So that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. There was not a arrow shot. They followed God's plan. They just obeyed, and they went in and conquered the city. Just as the Lord had said, the walls fell down. In other words, another key from this lesson, the ways of the Lord may be different, but all we need to do is trust and obey. Even though it may not make sense, I'm sure it didn't make sense. Why are we marching around the city in silence? What good is that going to do? But that was God's plan. If you follow God's plan, victory will follow. We'd like to thank you for watching today. We ask you to join us next week for another edition of the Sunday School Review.